What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
And guess what? We're back at it answering more questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. You know what I just realized? One of you guys asked us to switch the intros, and we forgot. So this is the second time we've forgotten. We will do it next time. Subscribe. But this question comes from Austin Palmer. If the old ones came back, would you want them to be similar to the Age of Sigmar frog people, like the old tech with psychic powers, or frog people with advanced laser weapons excelling at taking down heavy machines because fighting Necrons and also strong psychic powers still? So that's part two of the, so that's part one of the question. So how would we want the old ones to return if they return to 40K?
Yeah, so I think the old ones should still be like Slann, like weird frog-like creatures. But it's been, what, thousands of millennia ago?
Over 60 million years.
Yeah, so we have like, they gotta progress in some type of way. So there should be some that don't look like that, but maybe it's kind of like in Ninja Turtles, where you got that one thing and then you got the little like guy in the stomach. That's a brain.
Oh, yeah. So, like, more cerebral than actual, like, animals,
Like, they create, like, faux bodies or something like that.
Yeah, in terms of the appearance of the old ones, if they came back and they looked more like we've been in the void of space for a really long time, that would be really cool. So, if they look like Voidborn.
Yeah. Basically, grim dark Slann.
Yeah, basically.
Because that's just borrowing exactly from, not even borrowing, that's taking from Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. Now, what role would you want the old ones to play if they return?
A bottom, easy.
I think it would be really cool if the old ones were like, it would be like one old one ship returning to the galaxy completely destroyed, basically like crying that like, oh, we're sorry, and then whoever finds them, it's like, sorry for what? It'd be cool if it was the Tau Empire. Like, sorry for what? We created the Tyranids. That would be really cool. I would want that, because it kind of fixes that problem of like, yes, they return, but technically we don't have to worry about a new faction that's going to get ignored by by Games Workshop.
Yeah, because I don't know, I feel like right now 40K is almost on the verge of faction bloat. Like, they just have too many armies where they can't keep up with all of them adequately. But at the same time, I feel like they still need to give us fully fleshed out factions for the ones we already have.
Yeah, so adding the old ones would be a lot.
Because, I mean, we got to focus on the freaking Voltan. Why add another one that's just going to eclipse them?
It would also be really cool if the old ones returned and they were as powerful as Catan.
Yes.
Because, like, the Eldar worship them, and in my theory, the Eldar gods are old ones, or like the manifestation of what the old ones were. So it'd be cool if they could tap into that psychic energy, and then you'd have, like, demigod old ones.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. But very, very elite army if it ever was playable.
Yeah. But then you could tie them into Eldar, or any psychically powerful warrior race from the past.
That's true.
So the orcs, imagine if... Krork and Mork?
Gork and Mork.
Gork and Mork, if they returned as old ones. That'd be cool. Here's a part two. The part two of the question is, what kind of transport vehicles do you think the 40K version would have?
Transport vehicles?
Yeah, the old ones, I guess.
Oh, the old ones? Yeah. Man, I feel like it's got to be some type of, like, Aztec stuff to kind of keep in line with the whole Slann look of it all.
Yeah.
But, like, again, more grim dark, maybe add some, like, Blackstone or something else to just make it fit in with the aesthetic of 40K.
Also, I think what's cool, if we take a look at the Eldar and Wraithbone, that would be a really good example of, like, I want to say, the word that comes to mind is like fairy, like a fairy architecture type of looking thing, because it's supposed to be connected to magic and all that kind of stuff. So I'd like that.
Ooh, thinking about that makes me think, what if the old ones are more aligned with nature?
Yeah.
And like it's like this big biome of like lush grass and trees and stuff like that.
Yeah. The opposite of the Tyranids, right? Just a giant monster.
Yeah. So it's like, here comes the flying terrariums.
Yeah.
With little frogs in them.
Yeah. So, like, because you know how we see the images of the tendrils of the Hive Fleet? And obviously they kind of look alive. It would be cool if that would happen, but it would just be like trees growing,
like roots and stuff
through the galaxy or through space. Good question. Next one.
So this one is by Drafted Degrate 777. 40K is literally getting new shit every day. What are y'all complaining about?
That is true, but at the same time, it's not like.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Like right now, we're in a spot where like, okay, new Gene Stealer stuff. Oh, a new model. Okay, new model for the Sisters of Battle. Oh, their codex is coming out. But it's just like.
And I think it kind of goes down to what you were saying earlier, where there's faction bloat. Because yes, we might get new models for one faction, but if only 2% of the population that plays 40K actually plays that model, we didn't get anything new.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I hate about the codices. It's like they've been watering down for like the past 2 editions the lore in there.
Yeah.
So where like the 8th edition codices had a bunch of awesome juicy lore that actually progressed the factions. Now it's like maybe you'll get like 2 or 3 paragraphs added of new stuff, and you get more rules, but then these rules get changed out before the codex even drops. So it's like, oh, why are you giving us points and rules when like this is going to change?
And the big problem with what Games Workshop is doing is that they're giving us codexes that are pointless then. Because if we're getting regurgitated lore, smaller lore, and then we're just getting rules that are going to get FAQ'd or what is it called? Errated. Then what's the point of getting a codex? That's why Games Workshop needs to invest in putting like good stories into these books.
But then they got to put those stories in their own novels so they could sell the Black Library books.
Or even, but that's the thing, right? Because like we always talk about how the lore within a codex is a blurb. It's just a quick little like one shot. And then do that and then put out a book pertaining to that little blurb. I would more likely buy the codex or buy the book because I read it in the codex.
Right.
So for example, I really like to talk about the story of the warlord who went into the warp and then came back out 10 seconds before he went in, and then the 2 WAAAGHs fought each other. If they came out with a story, like a book, a Black Library book, I would buy it instantly.
Yeah, all the feats that this orc war boss did with his favorite weapon and why he wants another one, that'd be pretty badass.
Yeah, that's what Games Workshop needs to do.
Yeah.
Instead of doing what they're doing now, giving us pointless codex.
Or maybe they should just do what AOS is doing. Free battle tomes.
Yeah.
No, that won't happen.
No. Next question comes from Julius Octavian 9472. Can someone help my boy Epithemius? Because he'd be suffering.
Epithemius?
Epithemius.
I don't know who your boy is.
I'm not that well versed in Greek or Roman stories.
Epimetheus.
There you go.
I don't know, but I like saying it, so I'm going to keep saying it. Epimetheus needs all our prayer. Let's make the sign of the Aquila and send good vibes their way.
Yeah. I wonder if he's the one who's arguing with Jen. Would you take, would you be opposed or for Jen? Or at least her side?
Yes.
So you're pro.
I would be pro
Jen's side.
I see what you're trying to make me into an imperialist.
A Zionist.
Oh, okay. There
Next
you go.
question.
This one is by Brandy3344. Why not? LOL. Aren't we all just supposed to jerk off 40K exclusively?
I think that is a response to us saying that Games Workshop is paying more attention to AOS instead of 40K.
Right.
And you're saying we're jerking off to what?
40K exclusively. And it's like, no, we should be jerking off to everything.
I don't think I can jerk off to AOS, though.
We've played a few games.
And there's nothing that makes me want to jerk off to Beastmen, Berserkers.
Here's the thing. The best thing about Age of Sigmar is already in 40K.
Space Marines? What do they call them in AOS?
The Stormcast Eternals, which got a revamp. They basically got their Primaris Stormcast.
And they got female Stormcast Eternals.
Mm-hmm. We know how you guys like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and guess what? They actually added a 5th God of Chaos.
The rat.
The rat. The horned rat.
Yeah.
So they're doing things, and like 40K is also doing things with like demigods. Like I guess technically Be'lakor is not a demigod, but he's in the running alongside Vashtor. And we got the whole Dark King with the Emperor. Is he? Isn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of similarities in Age of Sigmar. So I think the way GW likes doing things is they kind of dip their toe in with 40K or with AOS, and if it does good, it happens in 40K.
Yeah. I'm laughing right now because there's this. Or actually, did you read the Dimitri DK post?
I did not.
So we were talking about how AOS is getting more attention, and then he says, typical 40K fans when they don't receive new boxes for 5 minutes. And that is true, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think we're used to getting... Because whenever they would do, like, some type of big reveal, and they only had one model for 40K, I thought, then it's not a reveal.
Yeah. It's like, oh, man, tune in next Saturday for epic 40K reveals. And it's like you get 3 things.
Yeah. There is a big difference, though, when you go to a hobby shop between the 40K player, the AOS player, and the Lord of the Rings player. The one guy that's in the hobby shop.
And he's not even playing. He's just painting.
Yeah. Last question by Clovis Longworm. Who came a-knockin' at 1148?
Was it the repo guy?
The repo guy, yeah.
Yeah, he took all of our unpainted boxes of 40K and he's like, y'all ain't doing shit, so give them to me.
He took away our pile of shame.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Hercules because he needed all that strength to pick up all that gray plastic.
He eats it.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah. Keep asking questions. We'll keep giving you answers, whether they pertain to Herculean myths, Epithemius. See, I said I was going to say it one more time. Or 40K stuff. It's been the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out.